Venus is the planet of love, beauty, artistry, harmony, ease, and it actually rules Taurus in addition to ruling the sign of Libra. So that means that Venus is so happy to be in the sign of Taurus. It's really powered up. And this is a great relief after it spent a huge chunk of 2025 in the sign of Aries, which it does not like to be in. Now, for me, I have my natal Venus in Aries, so it didn't bother me too much. But generally for the collective, it doesn't really like to be there. It loves to be in the signs of Taurus and Libra. Taurus represents stubbornness, also ease, luxury, sensuality. So it's about those senses, which makes a lot of sense. There should be a connection and an overlap between a sign and the planet that is ruling it. It's not going to be a one-to-one, especially because we have Venus that rules two different signs, but there is a strong overlap here. Venus is going to be in Taurus starting on Friday in the wee hours of the morning, East Coast time. For you, it might be changing later in the day on Thursday or later in the day on Friday. And Venus is going to be there until July 4th, so approximately a month's time. This is an opportunity for us to lean into relaxation, self-care, connect with nature, engage our senses, and also leaning into what brings us joy. This is like a fantastic nervous system reset for us. We have been uncomfortable with Venus and Aries. What we find beautiful or what brings us peace, etc. It's in this fiery sign of Aries, which has been under construction by all of these retrogrades, planets entering and exiting. Right now, we have a couple of the outer planets that have just moved into Aries. So for Venus, it's like, oh gosh, I've escaped everything that's been happening over there. And it's just kind of chilling in Taurus and in a place where it wants to be. So we can think about this month ahead, starting on Friday, to try to embrace that. We may also find that we start paying more attention to our physical and financial assets, and that comes from the Taurus energy because it kind of wants to focus on that a little bit. Now, if you look at your chart, we can layer everything that I just described onto the house system that you're using. So when we're talking about houses, I am actually going to be having a class on this as a plug. I'm going to be having a class on this on Sunday, an off day, but it's just how the schedule works. June 8th, 12 p.m. Eastern time, where I'm going to be talking about the 12 astrological houses. So when you want to understand where transits are happening in relation to your own life, it's important to understand your house system, how it is aligning within your astrological chart, because that tells you, oh, if it's happening in the first house, then it's focused on this area of your life rather than the 10th house, the 4th house, etc. So we have, I'm just going to close this out so I can see more of the chat. Mostly the 3rd, about 4 degrees in the 4th, the 11th house, Taurus in my 9th. It's all the way empty, yeah. So what that'll mean is 10th, mostly 11th, oh, 2nd, 7th. Okay, great. So I'll kind of rapid fire go through these. So when we have Taurus, that's in the 7th house, or sorry, 3rd house. 3rd house is talking about communication, close, short distance relationships. It's like neighborhood, siblings, so people that are kind of in your general vicinity. Communication could be just literally the means of how you're talking to people, and it can also pick up technology as well. 4th house is family, foundations, ancestry, caretaking. 11th house, friends, networking, social media. 9th house is long distance travel. So it's the opposite of 3rd house, long distance travel. So it could be international, something that's not just like a quick day trip. Really big picture thinking. So spirituality, religion, asking the deep questions, communication in the sense of teaching, publishing, 10th house is career, reputation. What are you known for? What's your long-term career? Not the job you have now, but what's the arc of your career? Second house. Wow, everybody's like a full spread here. Second house is your values, your principles, your sense of self-worth, how you earn money, your physical financial assets, things that you earn, things that you own, so like your car, your house, your, I can't think of a random item, your water bottle. This is an asset that you have that you bought with your money. So it can cover the physical, it can cover the metaphorical. Oftentimes people do associate the second house with Taurus. So there's that as well, but it is not in fact a one-to-one. Seventh house is committed partnerships. So this can be business partnerships, romantic partners. They are long-term relationships that you develop. Eighth house, transformation, rebirth, mental health, different than sixth house, which has physical health. Death, in the sense of death and rebirth, so losses. So you're shedding things that no longer serve you. So you could be assessing, because we're talking about Venus here, like, what's important to me? What are my values? What do I think is beautiful? What I think is supportive and healing for me? And if it's not, maybe you're getting rid of it. Or maybe you're finding healing in letting go. And you can find some joy in that when other times of the year you might not. And you could have a reframing on it. Or being kinder to yourself. It's like love going into a mental health space. Maybe you have more positive self-talk during that time. That's a great example. And then I mentioned ninth house before. So yeah, you can see how each slice is a little bit different. So wherever Venus is, it's wanting to bring this joyful, peaceful, relaxing, creative type energy. And then Taurus wants to just move slower. It doesn't want to go up and change anything. So this is not a disruptive energy. We're not walking through this next month deciding that we're going to overhaul our life. That's a Mars energy. We're not building things. We're not changing anything major. We may just be thinking about it differently, living, embodying it in a different way, giving ourselves a little bit more grace and patience and compassion. Or others, if we're talking about something with seventh house, third house, ninth house, where we're interacting with other people, or fourth house, talking to family, whatever it is, maybe we are viewing those areas of life, how we are talking to those people, 11th house as well, networking, how we are talking to those people, how we are interacting, because Venus is about relationships. It's less about our ruminating thoughts or the words that we're saying. That's going to be Mercury. For Venus, it's how are we relating? How are we connecting to each other? How are our energies aligned? Is it bringing us a feeling of balance and peace? I keep bringing up some of these terms because if you remember, Venus also rules Libra, which is the scales. It's the harmony, it's the balance. So that's where the archetypes of Venus, some are splintered into Libra and some are splintered into Taurus. So what Taurus inherited was the ease, was the sensuality, embodiment, wanting to be grounded, wanting to be connected, wanting to go slower. Let's relax. That's what Taurus is inheriting. And that's what we'll be leaning into heavily. Yeah, I know that was a rapid fire because everyone kind of threw them in at the same time, but hopefully that is helpful. So it's something to think about, quite literally food for thought. Venus and Taurus would love that. A nice, healthy snack or luxurious dessert. That's the kind of vibe that we have going for this month ahead. How can we embrace that a little bit in that area of life? Relationships, teaching, learning, talking, family, travel. And then there's, mental health, and we pretty much talked about all of them. The few that we skipped over are first 6. Is that it? I think we might have talked about all of them. So yeah, there's a lot going on there, but we have a whole month to just sit in that energy. And it should feel like a big shift from Venus and Aries, which we were going in and out of with all the retrogrades for several months of time. starting with the retrograde period, which kicked off at the beginning or late January, beginning of February. So it's a long time. This really will feel like a new chapter. Like finally, Venus is somewhere that it wants to be. It's not going back and forth, running around town. So it should feel like a really supportive change for us.